What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Surfside PPC podcast. Today's going to be episode number 24, and it's going to be news. So essentially, Google Ads News, June 2026. That'll probably be the name of the episode. But I'm going to try to do some more news items. So with this podcast, if you're listening to it, you can kind of keep up with things that are going on within Google Ads and changes that happen within SEO. And, I'd like to do more with meta ads as well, but this is pretty much a Google Ads podcast at this point. So new Google Ads bidding changes. This is the number one change that I've seen. The number one thing hits on August 17th, but the announcement, Ginny Marvin on LinkedIn, we will go through all the different things that they went over. First things first is smart bidding exploration allows you to reach new users from queries currently out of reach without changing your core campaign targeting. The idea is essentially, if you're spending $5,000 a month and you're getting X amount of leads and you're saying, you know what, we want to try to get more out of our Google ads. We're willing to spend another $1,000 or so. Smart bidding exploration is essentially good for accounts that have really good conversion data. I think it's going to be really bad for accounts that have really bad conversion data or no conversion data. But right now it's available for PMax, available in all language for Performance Max without a product feed and for search campaigns, and then open beta for shopping ads and PMax campaigns with a feed. So ultimately, there's a lot of search terms where people aren't searching the exact things that, you're targeting, but I also think that this just kind of opens the door with like ultra broad match. It's kind of like, I think AI Max, broad match, smart bidding exploration, I think they're really good features. They just need to be used really smart, and you need to make sure that your conversion data that's coming in is good conversion data, because otherwise, if Google's driving you junk, they're going to continue driving you junk. If they're driving you great leads, they're going to continue driving you great leads. So that's the most important thing. Next is going to be plan ahead for your peak period. So promotion mode allows you to schedule temporary changes to your return on ad spend. So I actually have an image of this in the next slide, so we'll open the image. The image is from Media Post. So basically here you can have, and this didn't come out very well, you can basically set promotion dates, target return on ad spend tolerance, extra daily budget that you're willing to spend. So you're basically saying, here's what my promotion is. I am willing to spend additional money. I'm willing to open up my target return on ad spend percentage and loosen that restriction a little bit, because I know during peak holiday times, you do see more sales and higher conversion rates than you do during non-holiday times. So this is a really good feature actually for e-commerce. I have clients that run during, certain promotions during certain times, and it does help to have, hey, we're willing to spend a little bit more during this period because it's important time for us and a big promotion for our company. Next is going to be a huge one. When you set the target, it's going to become your real target. So target CPA in the past, if you set it at $500, like I'm willing to get leads for $500, Google will drive you leads for less usually. If you have the number higher, Google will kind of give you leads for a lower cost until you get to the number that's like, yeah, you're really not going to get it much lower than this when cost per click is $25 a click. It's like, so you might say, okay, I have a target CPA set for $150. What's going to change is coming August 17th, essentially Google is going to try to hit that target CPA. It is a way for Google to make more money, let's be honest. But if your campaigns are beating the target that you set, then bidding target optimization is one of those things you want to continue to bring down your target CPAs, because Google is going to try to spend more. There's been a few changes with Google recently where they said, if you have ad scheduling with weekends turned off, they're going to pretend like, well, we're just going to pace it, like you don't have weekends turned off. So instead of doing for 22 days of the month, we're going to run your budget for that full 30 days. So it's a way for Google to get more budget out of their advertisers, essentially. The other thing for this is a way for Google to say, yeah, we're going to open up the strings a little bit. And if you set a target, we're going to try to hit that, because there's a lot of people that set targets and don't change them. So most important thing, just keep in mind what your target CPA is. It's something to check in on, like what was your last 30 days results? Really every other week you should be, okay, let's look at what we had last 30 days. What should our target CPA be here for these campaigns? Do we have good conversions coming in? And that's ultimately what you're trying to do with target optimization. So that's kind of the big update for the week, is the Google Ads bidding updates. These will be huge and things that will roll out in the accounts. So I haven't seen a ton of them yet. I think promotion mode I've seen, but I haven't started using that yet. To me, not promotion mode, our first one here, our smart bidding exploration. I think I've seen this, but I haven't tried it yet. So I think in good accounts with good data, it could be a really good option. But otherwise, yeah, it's probably something that's just going to waste some budget for you. So yeah, there's our promo settings. The next thing is Google announced new real estate local services ads for home listings. So I actually created some sample images, not probably what they're going to look like. These are sample ads, not what it will look like. But essentially, if somebody's typing in homes for sale, Seattle, Washington, you get a local property listing, a price. Crazy, that's $850,000. I guess Seattle. Local property property listing, a price, you have the realtor, and that basically if you're a realtor, and I think this is for buyer's agents and listing agents. So, no matter regardless types of real estate agent you are, if you're a listing agent, for example, you have, here's our property for sale. Call me, message me. You're going to get charged when somebody actually goes through with that. So the real estate local services ads are brand new. They've been rolled out to some advertisers, but essentially a buyer is going to have price and core features, neighborhood data, the agent vetted. So essentially the most important thing is if you're an agent, get on there, start running these ads, and you're going to pay essentially competitive pricing based on what other agents are willing to pay. So it is one of those things where if you're a bigger agency with bigger budgets, yes, you're willing to spend more, but searches like home for sale near me, real estate near me, really instead of Google driving people to Zillow and then finding the agent there, Google is going to say, yeah, we can make some more money off of this. So this is the next update is Google home listings ads for real estate agents. So a buyer searches homes for sale near me on their phone, sees your listing with photos and ratings and messages without ever leaving the results. So do you have a local services ads? Is it verified? Is everything complete? Are you, linked up with your Google business profile? If so, I would recommend running these and just see how they run, because you can probably get, especially in the early stages, you can probably get these for much cheaper than you would, 2, 3, 4 years from now when everybody's running them. So real estate home listing ads, definitely a good new feature for real estate agents. It's just one of those, if you're Zillow, if you're a competitor of Google, you're probably not very happy. Zillow has already kind of said, yeah, we don't think this is going to impact us too much. But to me, yeah, it's like the same with local services ads. Those dominate the top of the search results, and Google makes them look nice and they barely look like ads. So it's one of those that I think it will probably take a lot from some of these other real estate listing websites. So next one, I just did a video for this one today, is Google Ads Gemini-powered Ask Ad Manager. I went over, if you're already using Gemini and you have the Chrome extension installed, you can have Ask Gemini up at the top, and this will basically read your entire page. So this is one thing that you can already use. Ask Advisor is basically the current one. It seems like the number one thing is, if we come back over here, is if you're using it, it's going to help you with reporting. So if you're like, hey, I need you to generate me some custom reports, great. Troubleshooting line items. If you have appeals issues, if you have issues with, certain things not going through or any errors within your account, that's something where you could say, let me ask Ad Manager and figure it out. I haven't seen it in accounts yet, so it's one of those I haven't quite used it, so I don't have any good information about how it works or anything. But to me, I think it's just, it'll have the context of your entire account. You can ask it questions. It'll read your entire account. You can use it to produce reports. And I think ultimately you can use it to say, hey, do I have any assets that are underperforming? Are there areas where I can improve my account? Are there search terms that are taking away from my budget? Can you generate a report of our phone calls for the last 30 days, when they happened, where our ads are showing? It's different things like that. I think it's more, you can talk in plain text to a chatbot and they will give you a nice output. So we'll see how it works. I'm sure it's something that will be useful for ad managers. Do you think it'll help if you're somebody managing your own ads and you're like, hey, I need a little help here? It's probably going to be more useful than, say, a Google Ads rep, that third-party reps that would call you and say, let's switch everything to Broad Match and run Performance Max. So ultimately, I think with this, you're going to get a little more information and context within your account. And when you have questions where you're stuck on things, or you're looking for, hey, where can we improve, or what's kind of dragging my account down, it might be able to give you better answers over time than basically anybody else. So the next thing is last but not least, so is ad serving limited for unqualified advertisers. This was a newer thing Google's just announced. Ad serving limited is something I've seen in a lot of different accounts. Usually it's related to like medical or some type of limitation in terms of like, you can't use customer match lists, which fine. If it's medical, of course. So ad serving limited. The biggest thing with this is it seems like Google is going to continue to just verification every single account they possibly have. So verification, business, personal, just making sure that who owns the business, paying for the ads. I think what Google is looking for are reputable businesses, trusted businesses, good reviews. They don't want people running ads that if their end searchers go through and get scammed, or they have a bad experience with something and then they go back and, oh, that was from a Google ad. I think ultimately what Google's trying to do is say, we want the best top tier companies in our search results when they're running ads. So it's just another layer to quality score and your overall ad rank, in my opinion. I think it's something where, now this is an actual policy. So you'll actually see this in your account if you have a limited ad serving. If you're a medical account and you're seeing limited ad serving, this does not apply. It's not the same thing. It's not that You're limited because essentially Google is saying we don't trust you. That's essentially what it is. So you might, for brand new accounts, this might be a thing. I think the biggest thing here is brand new accounts really have to work to get quality score and ad rank up, because I think Google's doing everything in their power to say, okay, if you're a brand new advertiser, you need to come in here and kind of prove yourself. I do think there's companies where if you link a Google business profile immediately to the account and do all of that, then I think it's a little bit easier to kind of justify like, okay, we can see who this company is. They verified everything. So I think for new accounts, get all your verifications in, link all of your accounts, link as many Google accounts as possible, make sure everything looks as legitimate as it possibly can. And I think that's the number one thing, because then when you're verified, trusted, reviews look good, billing set up well, there won't be any policy issues or any limitations. I think it's going to be more for if you're running ads for certain types of industries, I think Google might be a little bit stricter on it. And if you're somebody who's like, hey, we sell insurance, we do insurance, but really you're a lead generation third party, that's the thing I think Google really wants to get rid of. I think they'd rather have actual insurance companies running in their results than people who are trying to find every last little keyword in search and get people confused when they go Allstate and they call and they say, oh no, we can connect you with the best insurance possible. So that is a huge business thing that a lot of people do. So to me, the limited ad serving is one of those. I think it's going to hit more of those types of companies. I think for, if I'm running Google Ads management company type ads, I don't think I'd really have limitations unless I had some issue with my verification, or if my was horrible, or if a bunch of people said, yeah, Surfside PPC stinks, then maybe potentially. But to kind of wrap up all of our news stories over the past couple weeks, bidding changes. So Google announced 3 major bidding changes: smart bidding exploration, basically broad match, good for if you have conversion data; promotion mode, good for limited time promotions; and bidding target optimization, just check your CPA and return on ad spend targets. I think it might just be CPA, but I would check both targets, make sure they are set where they need to be set, and don't be afraid to bring CPA targets down, put return on ad spend up as a test, and just make sure things are working. Promotion, so this is kind of an example of the promotional settings. Real estate, so this one, Google has announced these new home listing ads. I had another example here. I don't know if this is what they'll look like. This is really just Google, can you generate this and see it? So, home for sale, Seattle, Washington. This is kind of what I think a general look of it will be. It'll obviously look different text and formatting, but I think it's somewhat like this for Google. It's obviously no Google up here, so it's not a real picture. But new real estate listing ads, definitely good for if you're somebody trying to sell homes and ultimately get your listings in, make sure they are all connected to your Google local services ads account, your Google business profile. If you have really good reviews, I think this can help you really sell more homes and get more people calling you. Next is Google adds the Gemini Ask Ad Manager. So our Gemini-powered, basically AI agent within Google Ads that is going to help you make changes, pull reports, and contextualize what you're actually seeing within the account. I don't think it's like a fix for, trying to fix every last little setting within Google Ads, but it's definitely something that will help people improve their overall results and pull reports much quicker. Last but not least, limited ad serving for unqualified advertisers. Probably not something most people need to worry about, but if you are in that gray area of the type of business you are, where, the insurance example I just used, if your business has a lot of negative reviews and coverage and things like that, I don't know exactly how Google's going to quantify this. I did see there's something where, you'll be able to actually say, I trust this website, I don't trust this website. And that might be something they use to say, okay, yeah, this is a good website that we can use. This is a bad website we can't use. So I think all of these changes, bidding changes, for the most part, good things for advertisers with smart bidding exploration. It takes a smart advertiser to be able to use those features. Promotion mode, another way to work off limited time promotions. And then the bidding target optimization, I think that's going to be a huge update. I'm really interested in how that affects everything in the fall for people that don't check their accounts and change their CPAs and log back in 3 months later and go, whoa, why is my cost per conversion tripled? And it's like, well, Google actually takes what you say now. So real estate ads, these are rolling out. So you'll probably start to see these more. Real estate agents, just kind of get everything connected. If you're looking for somebody to manage it, just contact me. Google Ad, the Gemini-powered Ask Ad Manager. We'll see about that. And then ad serving limited. So Google Ads news for the week. This is Surfside PPC podcast, episode number 24. If you have any questions about anything, please reach out to me. However you need to reach out to me, leave a comment on YouTube. Thank you for watching. If you watch the video, thank you for listening to the podcast, and we will see you on the next episode.